All right, you guys, welcome back to another video from Backyard Barbecue Everything. Now, I'm sure you probably noticed I have the same shirt on, same can of beer, well, non-alcoholic beer, and yes, what you're seeing is the last video that I just did maybe 2 hours ago. This is all the tri-tip that's left out of it. I went to town on this thing. I pretty much ate 90% of it. I'm going to leave that and whatever I can't finish out of this beautiful 1.5 inch thick ribeye for my stepdaughters when they get home. So I'm just going to reverse so you can clearly see. This is a 4 to 5 score marble ribeye. It's 1.5 inches thick. It's pretty even across the board. And you can see the marbling that's in this ribeye. Today's video is going to be showing you what I do if I was to prepare a ribeye for a competition, or if it wasn't going to be a competition, what I would do to this thing if I was going to take really good care of it and get a nice looking ribeye for somebody that was coming over. So I'm going to switch it again so you can see, and we'll go from there. So what we have here, I'm going to point out just now, this portion right here and this fat cap is all I'm going to be removing to this ribeye. The rest of it's pretty circular. When you're preparing a ribeye for either a competition or doing something that you need it to look nice, you want it to be as uniform as possible. So with that being said, I'm going to take my knife here and I'm just going to cut down and trim off what I told you about. You want to leave some of that fat cap on there, but not a whole lot. And with that being said, that's all we're leaving away from it here. Now we have a nice circular ribeye. Or at least not circular. It's to the point where it's more uniform. What we're doing is we're not doing any binders to this today. We're not doing anything special as far as prep goes. As you can see, we want to leave that fat on there. First thing we're going to do, you already know the drill from the last one. We're going to sprinkle that AP rub on here. All we're going to do is season it lightly, and we're going to pat it in there. Make sure to get the sides on this one really well. Do the back side. And we're doing a pretty light coat on this, as you can see, nothing major. And then I'm just going to mop up the sides of this AP seasoning with the ribeye around like that. And you can see here that this is pretty round. Like I said, there isn't much I need to do to this ribeye to get it ready. It's in really, really good looking shape here. So now that we've done our AP seasoning, like I said before, and don't mind my face, it's a little red. I got a skylight. If you can't notice, it's right there. It's shining some pretty sun down in here, and it's warm. So the next thing we want to do, we want to add, and you'll notice this time, I am not letting that ribeye sit for 5-10-ish minutes with the AP on. The reason for that is this thing is so small and so tiny, it does not take a long time for the seasoning to penetrate it. We're kind of not really looking for the meat to be penetrated by the seasoning. We're just looking to give it some flavor, because you want all of your flavor profiles to be in one bite. You want that first bite to say it all. So what we're doing here, like I said, we're going back to this heat rub, the fire pit rub. We're just going to kind of go light as we can with it, both sides. That's it. And then we're just going to take our sides and we're just going to mop up what we left behind here. Sometimes I use a Texas rub for the third coating. Sometimes I don't. It all depends on what I'm doing. Today I'm just going to use my regular steak seasoning here, steak texture, to give it some variance to the outer crust. And you don't really got to worry about the sides with this one because you're getting top and bottom. Already smells incredible, as you can see. That's a beautifully seasoned steak, in my opinion. We're not going too heavy. We're just getting as much of it as we can. So this way, that first or second bite, depending on who eats it, if there's 3 judges, there's going to be 3 bites going. Say it all. So now, we're going to let this hang out for 5 minutes. I'm going to go get the grill, which is already fired up, but I got to look at it, make sure it's up to temp, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right, you guys, we are back. You can see my thermo is on hold from the last temp I took. What I have here, I have my El Cheapo grill set up again. We have charcoal below, and we have grill grates on top. What you're going to want to do, these grill grates are running 580, 550, 560, 590, 607, there we go, 614, 613. So we're somewhere between the temperature of 90, 615. Pretty accurate. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take a chunk of wood, and for this cook here, as you can see, I got one lump chunk. It's going to be mesquite. That's all we're using for this cook because it's going to take 7 minutes. But we want some of that flavor profile, and I tossed it in there, to be on the, mesquite side into that ribeye. Mesquite's my favorite wood for beef. It has a high flavor profile and everything else. So we have our steak here. Don't worry, I just washed my hands before I did that. We are going to do 1:30 and twist, 1:30 and flip. So what we want to do is we want to make sure our timer is set. We're just going to lay it down. You can hear that sizzle, and we're going to press. And we're going to let her go for 1:30 and twist. So what I will do, I will leave this go, and we'll be back when we're ready to twist. All right, guys, we are back. It's been 1:30, and we are going to twist it. I got to get my grill right there. That guy. The reason why we're doing 1:30 and twisting is because it is solely 1.5 inches thick. Basically, for every inch you're doing, and you want to get those grill marks. So what we are doing is we're going to do like a 45 and flip again. And we're going to let this sit for 1.5 minutes also. Basically what you're going to do here is we are doing 1.5 minutes on each side before we twist. Excuse me. Because it's 1.5 inches thick. If it was 1 inch thick, we would be doing 1 minute twist, 1 minute flip. 2 inches thick, 2 minutes flip, or twist, 2 minutes flip. So it's kind of like that cutoff. That's how you know how to judge the flipness here. So, I mean, in that instance, we got another 30 seconds to go, and then we'll be able to flip again. And the other nice thing goes on with this flip method is by the time you reach that fourth twist where it's been on for 3, 4.5, 5 minutes-ish or so, is if you need more time, you can just let it go on that bottom side, because the top side is what you'll be looking at. So right now, I'm going to put this down so I can move. We're looking at a sear on both sides. I've got to clean the grill grate and give it a nice new clean spot. So as you can see, after the flip is up, I'm going to kind of place it down, and we're going to give it another 1.5 minutes to cook. Once that 1.5 minutes is up, then we're going to twist it and we're going to temp it, because we're 3/4 of the way through the cook here. So what I'll do, I'm not going to bore you with any more talking or flipping. We're going to get to where it gets to that last flip, and then I'll temp it, and we'll start keeping an eye on it from there. We kind of want it to be right around 125 to 130 for ribeye. So I'll pause it and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so we are on our last twist. We have temped out at 105 degrees, and we're going to let it go for the final 1.5 minutes. And we should be temped out somewhere between 125 and 130. So we are at 122, 124, 126, 115. So I think that once we get to this point, we got 1 more minute to go. Once we get this flip going, we'll be good to go. So we're at 50 seconds in, we got another 30. Just to give you guys an overview of what we did today, we seasoned the steak like we did in the last video. We gave it the all-purpose magic seasoning, which sets the foundation. We gave it the fire pit seasoning to set the heat and the barbecue savoriness to it. We've also done our steak seasoning to give it some texture, and that's the reasoning behind. We are now 1.5 minutes into that final twist, so we're going to temp out and see where she is at. We're looking at 120. That's 140 because it's on the grates. So give me 1 second just to get a good look here and temper out. I did a final temp on it after we've been cooking for so long, and we are at 126 degrees. We are going to let her rest on the cutting board, and then I'll see you back here shortly. All right, you guys, it's been resting for about 5 minutes. As you can see, we got classic diamond textbook grill marks. Doing it this way with grill grates, the temperature will range anywhere from 100 to 200 degrees warmer than a traditional grill. And it is what's going to allow you to get those grill marks at a better temperature to cook it at that 6 to 7 minute mark. I'm grabbing a knife and a fork right now because at this point it's really hard to handle myself. Even though I've eaten almost all that tri-tip, the smell is just fantastic. I mean, guys, this is something where You have to try it. It is phenomenal. Just every which way you cook a steak, this is the best way in my opinion. Also, the reason the temperature probe was jumping so much was partially my fault. I didn't have it probed in the center. I was hitting the grill grates with the probe. I had to pull it off with a pair of tongs and stick it in the middle to get that 126 range that I found. As it sits down here, it is going to raise about 5 more degrees, so we're technically in that 130 range. We were able to get a nice even cook, and I don't know if you can see this, but ribeye is kind of almost like a prime rib. Right here, and around this outer ring, you can actually see right here is the cutoff. Right there, where my fork is. And it pulls apart. Right there. This outer ring of meat in the barbecue is what we call the spinalis. In my opinion, it's the best cut of the ribeye. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut into this and we're going to see how it was cooked. I mean, man, oh man. Hard to see, but you can see the pink right there. Textbook ribeye. We're just going to go through and we're going to give it a taste. The grill marks are phenomenal. The flavor is phenomenal. Everything about this is one fantastic cut of meat. You can see there you've got the char. We're running around that rare range, which is where I like it. Everybody else could be different. But if you like it rare, that's the temperature I would pull it off at that 125, 126 range. That outer spinalis edge is money, man. I'm telling you. So now, we got to turn this ribeye around. We got to get a cut in the middle. The spinalis is always going to be on that rarer side. You can see we've got some pink there. With it cooking the way that it did, you've got your pink, a little bit more cooked, and there's where you can see where the temperature by it sitting off of the grill raises up a little more. This is that more leaner cut of beef, which causes that.
Hello?
Sorry, barbecue world. My neighbor came over. My dog was playing outside with her dog, and that disrupted me a little bit. So I paused it, and I'm back now. Sorry. So as you can see here, we have a little bit of that outer edge is grayish, but we have that pink in the middle. And that goes back to that 1.5 twist, 1.5 flip, because it's 1.5 inches thick. Inch would be inch, twist, flip. Or yeah, inch, 1 minute, twist, 1 minute, flip. That inner portion of this ribeye here is always, as you can see, we're back to that pink again. The outer edge gets a little more well done. Inner edge, you're into that pink. This is just a classic textbook ribeye. In my opinion, it's perfectly cooked. You got that pink, but you've also got some of the outer edges more cooked. This, in my opinion, is the way a steak should be eaten. Pink in the middle, char on the outside, a little bit more cooked. I keep on eating it. It's pitmaster privilege, so I apologize for that. But if you like what we're doing here, give it a try at home. We'll go from there. See you on the next video.
Bye.
Welcome back, barbecue world, to Backyard Barbecue Everything. As I was finishing that ribeye steak, my stepdaughters walked in, so didn't get a chance to give you a proper ending. If you like what we're doing, please hit the notification menu. Please hit the subscribe button, and please like the video and comment down below on anything you'd like me to cook. But this is, my version of a textbook ribeye and how it should be done. And if I was going to enter a competition or prepare it for somebody that was important, or I needed it to be as best as it could be, that's how I would do it. So again, thank you for watching. And again, if you like what we're doing, click the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you.